Greetings. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this program do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts of this program. These conspiracy theories are totally fictional and are for entertainment purposes only. In other words, the hosts do not believe that any of this crap is real, nor are they trying to make anybody else think that any of this crap is real as well. Also, this program contains content for mature audiences only. You have been warned. What up, my niggers? This is the very first episode of the Conspiracy Corner with your hosts, John Christopher Wigner and James Michael Wigner. So break out those tinfoil hats and let's get going. The Conspiracy Corner is a podcast series where we will take bullshit conspiracy theories, ones that really aren't like real, or ones that, people have made up or whatever, and just discuss them for entertainment purposes only.
Way to ruin the suspension of disbelief by stating your disbelief in the suspension.
Damn right. So, anyway, James then will explain what our first theory is going to be.
Because in this world, everything's a conspiracy. Even the conspiracies are conspiracies.
Yeah, if that makes any sense. Continue.
You were supposed to make an announcement?
Yes. The sources of our conspiracy theories will not be mentioned because we will keep them secret for their own protection, so we will not say who they are.
Yes, that is something we vehemently adhere to because it is very important, and we don't want to lose our trust with these individuals. Now, our first conspiracy theory comes courtesy of Dale Gribble in a nice, prepared dossier. And this one involves Fidel Alejandro Castro Ruiz's escape sub.
Just ruse.
Well, I'm using it as implying ownership. That's why I said ruses. And of course, I don't mean submarine sandwich.
Oh, you mean like Subway or Cousins?
Yes, or Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, or the defunct Quiznos.
So it's not Castro's escape sandwich.
No, he is not attempting to establish an eatery of submarine sandwiches to take his share of the submarine sandwich market.
Good, so it's not as lame as what I would expect.
No, it's actually somewhat better than that. Okay. And as you all know, Castro has passed. I'll start with that, and John will tell me the year here.
He died on November 25th, 2016 at the age of 90. May he burn in hell. So, now without further ado, we will continue
That's
conspiracy theory.
That sets the stage for this. Okay, according to Dale Gribble, he has an escape sub as in a U-boat or a submarine. Now, he has one because we're to believe that he needs it to escape failed assassination attempts, because we have evidence of one such failed assassination attempt of him. It was in Yankee Stadium many moons ago by Cotton Hill and his friend.
Who was his friend? I don't remember. Was it Topsy?
I think it was
I
Topsy.
think it was Topsy. He's the one who would blow his cheeks.
Yes.
Who would keep air trapped in his mouth and expand his cheeks.
And scare Bobby. Yes, this was an episode of King of the Hill from the 5th season, I think, like circa 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So that incident, we believe, triggered this chain reaction of paranoia, and which translated into his escape sub.
Because he realized that he was no longer safe. And he needed a contingency plan.
But even in death, he still eludes us. So not even death can tame him. Now, we do believe we have found the sub that he used while he was alive, and possibly when he's dead, after he died. It was a World War I sub found off the coast of Belgium. There are 23 bodies inside, but we are to believe that he was not among the bodies. We also have reason to believe his cohort Che Guevara is with him in his mission, who was part of his regime when they were alive.
Were any of the bodies identified?
I don't know that, but we will inform you out there in radio land or internet land.
But it is believed, though,
if we do stumble upon information such as that.
But it is believed, though, that Castro was not one of the bodies.
No.
Okay, so that's implying that he's still alive?
Well, no. Remember, he's dead. He's dead, fool. He's from the ghost realm. See, and our other informant, which is Marcus of Queensberry from our Tyson Mysteries, who is also a ghost and has experience in the ghost realm, has spotted him doing very ghostly activities. That is how we know he is in fact a ghost. Now, the point of the World War I sub that he commandeered with Che Guevara was not only to escape future assassination attempts, but they also wanted to head toward Antarctica. The idea was to bring communism to the Penguins. Now, this is very interesting because the Penguins in Antarctica are apparently related to the Penguins from Futurama that were on the Iceberg of Alcatraz episode, I believe.
Now,
one with Bender commandeers the tanker, and they're on Pluto.
Now, did you know the reason why they're related is because they actually are some of the Penguins that did come. Well, actually, this is what happened. The Penguins of Futurama many, many years ago sent some of their own to Antarctica so they could observe our way of life. And then, of course, those penguins reproduced to create new penguins. So they're like a whole new generation of penguins, but they really came from Pluto. So that's how they're related to the ones from Pluto. Because they were actually sent here to observe our culture and everything.
And one very important note on this matter is at the end of that episode of Futurama, the Penguins learned how to operate firearms.
Oh, so they must have went to public school then.
Yes, because now they're proficient with them. So, of course, they taught their fellow brethren on Earth, in Antarctica, the same thing. So they can operate firearms. And this all relates to Castro because when he was going to head to Antarctica, or he still might be trying to head there, he's going to introduce communism to the penguin population there, and then they're going to stage a revolution and take over Antarctica and make it the first, and make it not the first, but make it a communist state.
Now, of course, that would be the first step in the plan for global communism. Once Antarctica would be communized, if that's even a real word, then we would hope Fidel Castro would try to get it to spread to other nations across the world as well.
Yes, I'm assuming their first stop would be South America, because I think the tip of South America is only 500 miles away from Antarctica, so that would be the first logical place.
So if Antarctica is at the bottom of the world, communism would then start there, and then it would work its way up to the North Pole.
And it should be an easy task, since a lot of South America is left-leaning anyway.
And then it would obviously spread up through there, through Mexico, then us, then Canada, and all the way up to Santa Claus, basically.
Yes, although the United States of America will probably provide some resistance because of the current president, Donald Trump. But a lot of places like Europe and stuff probably would be easier to take over. But that, we believe, is Castro's ultimate goal, is to finally engulf the world in communism, starting with penguins. So he's going to start with a lower species and then work his way up to people.
Now with Castro's escape sub when he started it, do you know the crew? How many crew members would he have on it? Would he bring all his top people with him?
Well, like I said, we believe Che Guevara was with him.
So
his brother Raul's still alive.
So then,
but he's what do you want to call it? Like an inside man in the real world, not the ghostly world. Because since he's still alive, he's as linked to the living.
So the whole plan of this was if there was a coup in Cuba, Castro would use this escape sub to get away to go to Antarctica. I'm assuming that's what the plan was.
Yes, and as far as we know, that still is the plan. We have no proof or evidence to the contrary.
So this sub that he has, basically, while he's on it, would it be considered like a sovereign nation? And he'd be the ruler of it. You know, like those cruise ships that those people that those people live on.
Oh, you mean like the world?
Yeah, like where the submarine would be its own ship, and it would not be adhered to any rules of any other nations. It'd be like its own country.
Yeah, I guess it could be.
Because it'd be in international waters.
Yes, if it was in international waters. Well, first of all, he doesn't rule Cuba anymore, so he's not a leader of anything.
Yeah, so if there was a coup and he had to use it to escape Cuba, then obviously he wouldn't be the ruler of Cuba.
Yeah, so if he entered waters that are considered...
Yeah, so his sub would be basically his new Cuba.
Yes, and if he entered waters that were considered part of a nation, I think that would then be a declaration of war.
Because that means that he has invaded that nation.
So I guess you could call Fidel Castro's submarine rogue nation.
Interesting.
So apparently now we've got Mission Impossible Rogue Nation involved in this.
So we need to get IMF on that immediately.
Yeah, somebody call Ethan Hunt, please. Benji, Luther, who did Jeremy Renner play? What was his name?
I don't know.
Anybody from IMF? I don't remember. Any expendable people? Any higher up people? Somebody, a janitor. But yeah, we might need them if things get even more dire. Now, of course, we're just trying to connect the dots here, but there's no reason not to believe that these dots shouldn't be connected. And I believe that the Penguins are able to use rifles because that's what they were using in Futurama. So we can only assume that they'll work their way up to even better, more devastating firearms.
Okay, bonus fact here. Jeremy Renner played William Brandt. He was an IMF field operations director.
Okay, good. Then any of those
So
people
now you can rest easy at night, thanks to me.
Of course, there's all kinds of other people that pop in and out.
We don't care.
Yeah. So, and of course, Dale Gribble and Marcus of Queensberry are incredible.
They're credible sources. So
yes, very credible sources.
We vet these people extensively.
Yes, we do, because we have to make sure that they're on the ball and they're not crazy and they work really hard and they take things seriously.
Much like you need to vet people who move to your country.
Yes, we just don't let anybody in and give us just whatever information they want. We have to make sure everything is on the up and up here. So that way, when we relay the information to you, we're on the up and up, and then you're on the up and up, and everybody is.
Once Castro's goal, if it is completed, where communism is spread...
Oh, it comes to fruition.
And it's spread to every country on this planet. Could he possibly then take communism to other worlds? For example, would he be able to take a sub and go to space and be able to bring communism to other planets? So could he have a space sub?
Yes, it's theoretically possible, but I think we'd have to achieve warp drive.
Maybe he has warp drive.
That's true, but it's not 2069.
As predicted in
Star Trek.
First Contact.
Yes.
Maybe he's ahead of the curve.
So anyway, yes, he could conquer new worlds and then institute communism there. Now, the problem with that is the universe is supposed to be infinite, so he'd never be able to
communize everything.
Yes, the whole universe, because it would go on forever. So I don't believe that would be possible unless the universe doesn't go on forever.
He could start with them. He could start with them.
He might know that. I don't know.
He could start with the moon and conquer the moon, and then he could go from there.
Yes, and he could take over all wonderful worlds, including one of great import is Pandora. You know, from Avatar.
Yeah. Omicron Perseid.
Yes, from Futurama. Well, many worlds from Futurama.
Thomas Homeworld.
Yes. Basically, he'd probably just do it until he grows tired of it. Until he just gets bored of it, but I don't see how. So he would just go on and on and on indefinitely until someone stops him.
Just kind of like what we're doing with this conspiracy theory.
Yes. Let's see, is there anything else that we can explain about this?
Where was his sub stored in Cuba? Was it next to the, Scientology Freewind ship, or was it stored separately?
Well, the location of his sub, the details are kind of sketchy from before it was found, just recently.
Yeah, but it must have been traveling. I mean, where did he house it? That's what I'm asking here.
I'm believing that it was
probably
parked somewhere under the Freewinds. So the Freewinds is a ship, a Scientology ship, if you conceal it. So it would just always hover around it.
Okay, so let's see here.
In other words, the Freewinds would be like a decoy. My cohort's looking something up right now. He might have found another piece to the puzzle, so let's wait patiently. I just want to say, Castro, if you're out there, we're on to you. Motherfucker.
Let's see here.
The silence is unbearable, isn't it? Dear listeners. See, this is what happens when you do real-time research on the show. And even though Dale Gribble and Marcus of Queensberry are highly skilled spies, they can't do all the work. We have to do some ourselves. We have to carry some of the load.
I know the Freewind ship is stored somewhere, I think in the Bahamas.
Yes.
Off some island, which means that Castro's escape sub would be stored then.
Well, that's in the same area.
Would be in the same area.
Okay, so it's totally plausible.
Which would actually make sense.
It's totally plausible. So does that mean that there's but there's a connection between Fidel Castro and Scientology?
Because Scientology, I think, docks its ship somewhere in the Bahamas for tax to not have to pay taxes or something. So Castro, I'm assuming with an escape sub, would do the same thing for tax purposes.
Okay, that makes sense. But then if you connect those dots together, then you could say that L. Ron Hubbard and Fidel Castro are in collusion.
So long ago,
the plot thickens.
So are you saying then that L. Ron Hubbard and Fidel Castro had some kind of deal where L. Ron Hubbard would hide Fidel Castro's escape sub?
Yes, and the money he gets from Scientology could possibly fund Castro's escape sub in his endeavor. Because they're both after money and power.
I never thought of that's very interesting. So we now believe that Fidel Castro and L. Ron Hubbard were in cahoots together.
Yes.
Because they store their water vessels in the same location.
Yes, and maybe Che Guevara was like a liaison between them, or like a buffer. You know, like the Corleone family from The Godfather.
Yeah, cool.
And they're working in tandem. Since L. Ron Hubbard's exploring higher OT levels, he could be out surveying those realms, while Fidel Castro is taking on the ghost realm, and then Fidel Castro's brother Raul Castro is scoping out the living realm. So not only are they trying to bring communism to all worlds and all places in the universe, they're also trying to bring it to all dimensions or realms in the universe. And that includes Asgard.
So now we
have Thor and the Avengers in the middle of this.
Yeah, so Dale Gribble really opened up Pandora's box with this one, baby.
Yes, you just keep poking the same crack until the whole thing just falls apart.
Just keep poking a dead seal on the beach with your stick.
And then it eventually just blows up. It gets bigger and bigger until it explodes.
Yep, just like what happened here.
So we really blew it wide open.
Yep, so remember, so when you think of Castro's escape sub, remember you heard it here first.
Well, maybe on King of the Hill, Dale Gribble.
Yes, he's the first one who mentioned it, but we're the ones who really expanded upon it.
Who really decide to delve into deep, dark waters and really elaborate on the mystery.
Yep.
So you heard the extended version here first. Dale did a good introduction, but we have to take it to the next level because that's what we do. So I guess that concludes this conspiracy theory.
Yep. And remember to leave comments in the comments section, bitches.
And subscribe to our channel if you like this podcast episode or any others. Because we need we need loyal listeners like you to keep this going.
Yep. So this is John Christopher Wagner.
And James Michael Wagner.
Signing off.
For John.
For John.